From the Homestead Studios in Santa Clarita, California, this is a Headache Soul production. Welcome to Just the Tip-Sters, America's favorite true crime podcast, and I'm your host, DJ Khaled. Okay, I'm Melissa Morgan. I'm not DJ Khaled, and this is my lovely and handsome co-host Joshua Bevan. Say hello.
Good morning.
You're not supposed to tell him what time it is.
Good afternoon.
Good day.
Or good evening.
Day, sir.
Good day to you.
Good day, sir. So I have been remiss to ask for reviews from our tipsters. If you like this podcast, if you could give us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're streaming us, we'd be very grateful. That's how people find us. And that would be a wonderful thing. I'd appreciate it if you could do that. And a special thank you to tipster Michelle for messaging me the Black Hole Sun video, and I will never forgive her. No, it is not what you think it is, Joshua.
Oh, boy.
It is a grown-ass man who's naked in the desert with holding his feet above him in a yoga pose called Happy Baby, and he is sunning his asshole.
In order to energize his... Yeah, unfortunately, I've heard of this.
Yeah. And they labeled it the Black Hole. I was like, oh, is this awesome Soundgarden?
Sun.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah. So I just want you to know, Michelle, I'm emotionally and spiritually scarred.
Right.
So...
But I do hear that is what Chris Cornell used to do.
No, he did not.
No. Oh.
No, he did not. He did not sun his asshole.
Okay. That's not okay.
No, I thought about blocking tipster Michelle, but I love her, so I won't.
Yeah.
But I did think about it because that's terrifying. I've seen that. It's been around for a while. I've seen this guy, and he has he's very well built, but he has a Abraham Lincoln beard. Okay. Like no attachment. And I was like, and he's like a ginger with an Abraham Lincoln beard and his asshole in the air. There's nothing about that that I want to know about anymore. Okay. Yeah. Kids, I practiced yoga for 23 years. I took a whole lot of teacher training. I taught for 16 years. Never once in any of the sutras does it say sun your asshole. I've never heard Buddha, write sunning the asshole is the key to enlightenment. None of that. None of that. Yeah. So yeah, thanks a lot, Michelle. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just wondering who was holding the camera. Like there's somebody.
My God,
somebody has to film this.
Well, okay, so it's out in the desert. He may have
was it just set up on a thing? Yeah, okay.
He seems like the kind of narcissistic guy that would either know how to set it up and set the timer, or be like, "Hey, Bob, will you go with me out to the desert? I have a special project I'm working on." So, and then he starts to take his clothes off, and Bob's like, "What's happening?"
What?
I love your impression of Bob. Bob's like, "What?" He gets very nervous and scared because his friend is laying in the desert naked with his asshole in the air. Yeah, that's a terrible thing.
Don't worry, Bob. It's fine.
It's not aimed at you. I know Joshua knows about this because I did a TikTok video, but I did find a pro tip this weekend. It is a good pro tip. If you're not a drinker, like I am not a drinker, and your friends, my sweet friend Carrie drags me out of the house a couple times a week. She made me join her stupid fucking bowling league, which that's going to come up in a second because I can't wait to show you my new ball.
I want to see
touch my ball.
I want to.
Joshua wants to see my ball.
You texted me about getting your holes drilled this weekend, and I was like, "Oh, awesome! Good job,
good for her." It's in my bowling ball. Yes, I got all 3 holes drilled in my bowling ball. You're a terrible man. Terrible man. All right. So my pro tip is if you're not a drinker like me and your friends drag you to a bar and you're either the designated driver or you just don't drink a lot, I ordered a cranberry juice and the, handsome young weird ass bartender, he's like, he makes a face and a noise. And I was like, what? Why is he upset? Do they not have cranberry juice? And I'm like, oh, because I'm not ordering a Jaeger bomb.
Sure.
Okay. And I go, oh, I'm fighting off a wicked UTI. And his eyes went immediately to the floor. And then he scuttled away and came back with a large glass of cranberry juice and did not bother me the rest of the time.
Good.
So pro tip, just ask for cranberry juice and say you're fighting off a UTI.
Okay.
Hey, Joshua, can I show you my ball? See my pretty new bowling ball?
It's wonderful.
Isn't it beautiful?
It is. It really is.
It's purple and pink, and it has
there's
glitter.
Little subtle glitter in there. Yeah.
Do your balls have glitter?
No, my balls don't have glitter. But now that you mention it, my balls are very well groomed thanks to Manscaped.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
And by the way, this episode is brought to you by Manscaped.
That is a gift.
Manscaped gave us a very special code. If you enter just the tip at manscaped.com, you can get 20% off and free worldwide shipping.
That's a deal.
For anything that you ordered from them.
For all your glittery balls.
So your balls can look just as great as Melissa's.
Or Joshua's.
Or mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how's it working for you?
Oh, it's working. It's working. It's working great. Nothing but positive reviews about my balls.
About your balls. Has anyone been able to experience the toner?
I've still not yet used any of the deodorants or the toners that have come with it.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know.
Saving them for a special occasion?
Yeah, exactly.
Some special lady.
I need a special occasion.
You are the occasion.
Oh, thank you. # self-love. I love it. I wonder if Manscaped makes little subtle glitter for that would be.
Are you bedazzling
that would be amazing.
Your balls? That's super cool. We need to talk to them about that.
Let's put it in there in the email.
So just the tip in the promo code area, and you get 20% off and free worldwide shipping.
Free worldwide shipping, and it helps this podcast, your favorite podcast.
Yeah, and just think of Joshua's balls when you do that, or mine. think of our balls collectively.
Right, collective balls.
My glittery one, and Joshua's closely shorn too. Right. Yeah.
I like how you had to physically pull this out for the radio production. This is an audio only.
You're the only one that can see it. And yet, I felt like it was important you see my glittery ball.
Right.
Okay, so this is a murder-tizer, my friends, which you will understand why in a moment. But before that, I did want to mention this sort of interesting news story. There's a serial killer loose in Stockton.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and Stockton, California, for those of you who aren't local. And it's fascinating, and I'd heard rumors about it for a while, and then had not really, put a lot of credence into it because, like the FBI says there's at any one time, there's upwards of 50 serial killers in the United States at a time. That's just,
wow.
Yeah. But I feel that's an overinflated number. And then other people have mentioned, but think about the ones that have not left a signature and are flying under the radar. So there may be more. It may average out. That's where I think they get the average of 50.
Okay.
Like they probably have 30 that they're aware of and, not aware of who they are individually,
sure.
but of their, but 20 more that haven't made a mistake yet.
Right.
So yeah, there's an amazing group called the Murder Accountability Project. And to think that you can come up with data using, ones and zeros and numbers is amazing. But they work I think they're from the Chicago area, like Illinois, and they helped to identify a serial killer in Gary, Indiana.
Oh, cool.
An African-American man was shooting African-American sex workers. And he had like 7 victims.
Oh, wow.
And they alerted the local police who were maybe not aware of the connections, and they caught him.
Wow.
Yeah. So
good.
That's another instance of citizen sleuths coming in handy.
Right.
I mean, it takes a village to solve something like this, but so this is pretty interesting. And I didn't want to put a lot of credence into it, but you can't now because they've released why. I mean, you can put credence into it now because they've released why there's a connection. A lot of people get shot for no apparent reason and you don't know why, but when ballistics match,
right.
And it's the becoming for him. He is amping up his work.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So the Stockton police have now linked, I think it's 7.
Uh-oh.
Starting from April of 2021. So now here's the first one, which I can understand why they didn't feel like it would be connected. It was an African-American woman in Oakland, California. And she, I guess, was homeless and was in her tent. And around 3 a.m, she hears someone walking around. She wakes up. He confronts her, says nothing, shoots her several times, but she survives. That's the only victim that has survived.
And did she see him, or was it like what
He's wearing a hoodie with the hood up, a COVID mask, and all black clothing, and it's 3 a.m, and he confronts her and shoots her several times, but she lives. The rest of them, they're now connecting this other 6 fatal shootings in Stockton. Like, I feel like maybe to start off, he went to Oakland because it's away from home, and now he's hunting where he lives.
Okay.
And it's mostly Hispanic people, and it's mostly Hispanic men, all different ages. And so far, they can't find any connection between them.
Like, what's their, like, why, what's the connection between them? Yeah.
It appears to be sort of random, but, you know, the fact that he's hunting Hispanic people, you know, they released a video, I guess, on Tuesday of this week, and it's just from behind. It's a security video of an apartment complex where he's walking, and one thing I'm a little bit proud of myself is I looked at the video immediately and said 5'10", and you can just see he's not 6 foot and he's not 5'8". He's 5'10". So they said looking for a man 5'10".
Wow.
I know, and I was like, I'm a profiler. God damn it. The video is, it's just from the back, but he has on black pants, black tennis shoes, a black hoodie with the hood pulled up. So you can't tell, you can't see any sort of, race or color, skin color. I had a friend who said, maybe it's a woman. And I'm like, no, you can see, they ask you to watch the gait, and I'm going to say he walks, and I don't want to be rude. This is going to go into our discussion in a minute. He man spreads and leads with his pelvis.
Right.
Like he walks with his pelvis out, like a confident cock of the walk kind of guy. So it's not, I don't know any women who walk like that. I just don't.
Sure.
So it's a guy. He's thin. He's thin, but he's a guy. He's definitely a guy. So ballistics and some video evidence have linked the crimes from Stockton to Oakland, and that's like 70 miles north. Oh, there is another woman. A woman was wounded in Stockton a few days later, but since then they've all been men. Here's the thing, he's stepping it up. From July 8th through September 27th of 2022, he has killed 5 men, all within the radius of a few square miles.
Wow.
And they don't know what the, motive is. The Stockton police chief, Stanley McFadden, said, this person's on a mission. We believe it's mission oriented.
Wow. And all the ballistics, it's all with the same weapon?
Right. I was going to get to that. Thanks for asking.
Okay.
No, thanks for asking. This is from ABC 7 in San Francisco. It's a really great online article, and I'm sure they've covered it in the news casts. But so at the press conference, Chief McFadden wouldn't say, is it a single weapon, but he tipped his hat.
Okay.
I have absolutely no answer as to why the pistol went dormant for over 400 days. So he let it out.
Got it.
It's the same gun.
Yeah.
And he just says, I really want, to remind people to be careful. And that's, of course, that's what everyone is saying in the area. They're like, I'm afraid to go out. It's like these 5 men, it's always in the, in the dark. They think he works during the day. So his hunting ground is, late night, early morning. They were all like ambushed and confronted. They're either like out walking or, getting into their homes, like coming home from work, so it's pretty interesting, that he hunts. Oh, it's terrible. I hate to say the word hunt, but yeah, there's a $125,000 reward, if you have any information, and they get hundreds of tips every day. But, if you have any information, please call 209-937-8167. And if you have any, leads there, that reward is a pretty good one. So a couple of FBI profilers said The hours that the victims are being shot suggest that he works during the day, so he uses the night and early morning to look for his victims. And we should figure that the suspect lives in the area. So
wow.
People in Stockton Tip-Sters, please be careful.
Yeah, stay safe.
Yeah. So that's just an update. So here's the meat of the murder-tizer. So it all started when Joshua sent me a tweet. No, stop saying "oh boys." You're not in trouble. You act like you're in trouble.
I don't know what's coming, so I'm nervous about.
It's nothing bad. It's nothing bad. It's that I had a little bit of a, not so much an issue, but kind of maybe an issue about something you said. So he sent me a tweet that did you mean it to be kind of funny or thought provoking? Okay.
No, it was.
I thought it was funny too.
I saw it was a silly tweet.
Yeah, it's a tweet, and he said, "I wonder why women, especially beautiful women," which I thought was the funny, clarifier, consume true crime podcasts and serial killer documentaries.
Right.
And, we've talked about this in the past, and I have one theory, and I heard, it was so interesting that Joshua sent me this because I heard like an offhanded comment in, of all places, a Hallmark murders and mysteries movie. And then Joshua has another theory. So I've always thought that true crime, I was shocked when I found that true crime was mostly consumed by women. It made sense when I found out the statistics, because most often women are the victims.
Right.
I felt that it was women needing information on how to protect themselves, whether it's from, domestic violence. Most women are killed by their domestic partner. Let's be honest. Most women are not killed by a serial. Your chances of being killed by a serial killer are much lower than you being struck by lightning.
Right.
Much, much lower. It's just not,
Even though there are 50.
Potentially.
Sure.
But they all don't, as this guy shoots men.
Sure.
For the most part, they don't all go after chicks,
Right.
So this isn't, obviously the Stockton serial is not sexually motivated. It's revenge, or, he's cleansing the earth of Hispanic people. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's Hispanic.
Yeah. I mean,
like a self-hating. It'll be interesting.
I'm very curious to see what goes on with this. Yeah, for sure.
They will.
Because is it racially motivated?
Right.
Is it, if there's only 7 so far, only 7 murders. But if there's 7,
step it up, fucker.
And they all happen to be Mexican, like, could it just be rolling of the dice that they're all Hispanic?
You could be right. I believe the first victim who didn't die was an African-American woman. I do not know who the second, there was a woman, I think, waiting on the street. I think she was Hispanic. That's why they're sort of labeling him as mostly his victims are male Hispanics. And it's also, he's stepping up his game. That's the part that's frightening.
Yeah,
so
let's hope they catch him soon, and then he can put out his manifesto
and we can wipe our butts with that.
Right.
So I felt that women need a cautionary tale, wanted a cautionary tale. Like, this is why I listen to true crime. I, check my backseat of my car when I get in it. I walk. For any of you who don't have key fobs, but who have like keys, you walk with your keys between your fingers, just like the rudimentary self-defense kind of thing.
Absolutely.
That was one of the reasons. It's one of the reasons why I fought with Manscaped is because I was like, who the hell would, why would you want to advertise on this podcast? And she's like, 80% of our customers are women.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, okay. And true crime is mostly consumed by women. So that's my theory.
Sure.
The Hallmark theory was a cop. What were you going to say?
Oh, your theory makes sense. I mean, that's, absolutely.
I think so.
I get that. You watch and you're like, okay, wait, how did she get hit?
Or how did she get out of it?
Or, I'm not going to do that.
Right.
Or, oh, cool. Now I have one more
situational awareness.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like I'm going to say this. This is, I can't believe I'm admitting it, but this Hallmark theory written by someone for a fake cop in a Hallmark movie sort of like threw me back, and I was applying it mostly to men, but I can see how it also can apply to how women think.
Mhm.
And it was, someone said why the concept of this series of Hallmark movies is like a librarian who hosts a group of people in a book club. It's called the Murder Book Club or something. So they, talk about murder mystery. Some of them are old, like Agatha Christie or something. It's not like they, sit around and like, what did Jeffrey Dahmer say on page 3? It's not like that.
Mhm.
So this cop, someone said to this cop, I think it was a woman that said to the cop, why do people even like this stuff?
Mhm.
And he said, they're trying to make sense of the chaos.
Trying to make sense of the chaos.
Like understanding why things happen. Like trying to find a reason why someone kills people. And there's,
Sure.
3 reasons: sex, money, or revenge. That's
Right.
pretty much it. And I tried very hard to find other reasons, and I can't, because they all fall under one of those. And that was from Lieutenant Joe Kinda, the homicide hunter. It was a really amazing quote when he said it. It clarified so many things for me. There's just not, you can say, like, if you're a serial killer and you have other motivation, but it isn't.
Mhm.
It's sex, money, or revenge.
Right. Okay.
So trying to make sense of the chaos of what's going on around you makes sense to me. It's a little bit like women wanting a cautionary tale.
Okay. So like, the world is so fucked up
and understandable.
And I just want to watch this thing to now somehow line it up in my own head.
Maybe understand why someone is motivated to do that. And the thing is, you're never going to make sense of the chaos.
Sure.
Tipster Heidi told me something really fascinating, because there's, I'm going to hold true to the McDonald triad, that the things that predict a serial are bedwetting, fire starting, and animal torture.
Okay.
It's not everybody, obviously, but I think it's, when they go back, and it usually ends up they had issues with their mother. I hate that. I hate that that's it, but that's also another one. But so I wet the bed till I was 6. I loved fire and would burn matches until they burnt my fingers.
Same.
Okay. Oh, you're a total fucking serial. Except that me and you could both be serials, except that we both would hurt ourselves before we'd hurt an animal.
Yeah.
We're not going to torture an animal
Right.
or a human being. But yeah, we don't start with animals and work our way to humans. So I think a lot of people wet the bed, and maybe a lot of people are into fire. But I think the McDonald triad, even though it's considered passé, I still hold true to that. But Tipster Heidi told me something fascinating. When, researchers get a chance, if you're caught and you're in prison, you're probably property of the state you're in. They want to dissect serial killers' brains.
Oh.
Like to see if there's lesions. There's also the theory that oxygen deprivation happened before the age of 2. It could have been in utero, like the cord wrapped around their necks. It could have been, like they fell into a pool, a dry cleaning bag suffocated them, but they lived, but that there was a time when they were oxygen deprived before the age of 2, and it created, specific marks or lesions on the brain.
Right.
So Ted Bundy, his brain was autopsy dissected. No lesions, no abnormalities.
It was just a brain.
Yep. Nothing they could explain why he killed probably 100 women.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, there's, the whole like, is there something like pressing on the limbic system constantly, the pleasure center, where you have to, do something constantly, like, rape and murder women, something like that. But yeah, Ted Bundy didn't have any brain abnormalities. One of the things that bothered me greatly is during his trial, the judge said, "You're a very intelligent man," because he was a law student.
Right.
Ted Bundy, "I would have loved to have come up against you in court." And I was like, please don't fanboy.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's, whew.
Yeah.
That is
inappropriate, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
Inappropriate, sir. Just feeding his fucking ego.
Was that that was why
in the courtroom while he is handing down his sentence for multiple murders.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So, all right. So now I'm putting on my boxing gloves.
Oh boy.
And you just offhandedly said something I thought was very intelligent, but I was like, it got my hackles up. So, all right, let's hear it, doctor.
All right. One more theory as to why pretty girls like murderers, following murderers.
He's trying to find the right words.
I'm nervous now with your boxing gloves out.
No, I don't have boxing gloves. I have practice gloves.
No, I feel like oh no, now I'm on the spot. Now I'm going to be like this chauvinist.
You're the least chauvinistic man I've ever met. You're more pro women than most women.
Sure.
But not just for that reason. For other.
So, like you mentioned before, sex, money, or revenge is the reason why some serial killers do it. I feel like sex is a reason why many women want to
be murdered.
Want to understand murderers, want to experience murderers.
Okay.
There's a sexual undertone to it.
Okay.
Because so I think many women, especially sexually charged women, have a desire to be dominated. There's a fantasy about being dominated, being the prey in a sexual way, but staying in a safe environment. So
right.
Most women that I've encountered don't actually want to be raped.
Of course not.
But if they're with a man who is safe, they want a little tinge of that, a little rape fantasy.
Gotcha.
They like to be choked a little, hair pulled a little, that kind of
a little. I like the a little.
A little. Some more than others, maybe.
Interesting.
So I think that bleeds over to other recreational activities. Oh, what do I want to listen to? What do I want to watch on TV?
Oh, okay.
It's hey, I want to sit on my couch in this safe environment.
Oh, okay. All right.
But so be safe. Actually be safe.
Right.
But experience a little bit of murder.
A little bit murder adjacent.
Next to.
Yeah.
Like feel what it might be like to be a victim of this murderer just a little bit. But I'm safe. I'm sitting on the couch.
Surprise, it's me, Bob.
Right.
Like it's not, yeah.
Right.
Interesting. Okay. So that's a little bit different take than what had happened is that Joshua had sent me this tweet and then I was like, nope, save it. We're talking about it. We're talking about it because I do think it's a big, important topic, whether it's about true crime, true murders, or women. I mean, I do think it's an important topic.
Totally.
And yeah, I can't deny that some women have, in very large air quotes, rape fantasies. It's hard to say that, but yeah, it's not stranger. Like you're not in the produce aisle at Trader Joe's and you're like, sir, could you choke me? That's probably not going to happen because most of the people at Trader Joe's are not. They're dirty.
It's not actually rape. Like I don't even connect to rape fantasy. The people say that,
right?
But,
it's a classification that doesn't really fit.
No, you want to be a little bit of the prey. You want to be taken.
Yeah, I like the word dominated. At first, that was the word that made me be like, what the fuck is he talking about? I got very defensive. But I also have another theory, and I could be wrong. There's probably some dominatrix listeners who can help us out. But I have a theory. If you are kind of I like that you use the word sexually charged. I'm not sure if I would use that, but something a little more mundane. If you are kind of an extrovert or an alpha female, you might like someone taking charge as opposed to you always being in charge.
Sure, switching it up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just learned this word. Thank you, TikTok. I identify as a switch. That I heard that phrase.
Oh, you personally identify as a switch?
Well, I didn't want to say that, but yes.
Sorry.
So yeah. So sometimes you want to, you want to be the dominant one, and sometimes you don't. I feel
Absolutely.
like maybe most people fall into the switch category.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that word comes from the homosexual community, but now it's like, it's expanded to for everybody.
Heteros have appropriated. Yeah, totally. Okay, good. I didn't know that. I'd never heard that. God bless TikTok.
Yeah. Bottom or a top.
Well, I've heard
or
bottoms and tops, but I haven't heard switch.
Yeah.
I've also heard terrible things I can't understand. My old hairdresser offhandedly said he's a power bottom. I don't know what that means. It sounds like a tool in your garage. I don't know. I can't imagine.
I can't.
Power bottom. Yeah, let's not.
I can't. No, it's okay. It's okay. I think we're getting way off topic.
Yeah, way off topic. But yeah, so the classifications, the names may not, always fit. But I get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I had not thought about that because I've never watched a true or fictionalized show, series, documentary about murder, whether it's one person killing one person or a serial, and thought, I wish I were taken by someone I could trust. Never once. It's an interesting idea, but
I don't think it's that overt.
Right.
I think it's something a little more deep down. Like that's why it's my theory.
Yeah, you keep your fucking theory to yourself. No, I think it's a good one. What I watch the shows for, and maybe everyone has their own motivation. That's why this conversation I thought was important. I watch them because I want to know the psychology behind a motherfucker who thinks they can take someone's life and not pay for it.
Sure.
That's what propels me.
Right. And you hinted at that in one of your other theories. That's the attractive part to me is the puzzle solving, like the figuring it out, like, okay, here's all these clues laid out on the table or on a bulletin board with string attached.
Yeah.
Like how do we figure out who done this?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think that is captivating also. It also leads me to understand why, as appreciative as I am of citizen sleuths and armchair detectives,
totally,
that's why they're not working professionally full-time, is because a lot of their theories are bullshit.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that their theories shouldn't be discussed or brought out, but it can be a time waster. And I will tell you something that I fell into with the Delphi case. I fell into a terrible habit that I'm breaking, where you put a picture of someone who you think did it and the sketch of the bridge guy. And
I'm sorry, back up a second. What's the Delphi case?
Oh, Delphi, Indiana. It's a pretty big case. Two young girls were murdered 3 or 4 years ago on Valentine's Day, I think it was. No. Yeah. Badly murdered, almost decapitated. They were taking a walk, and there's a fuckload of evidence, including Snapchat videos.
Oh, wow.
Where he's in the background walking toward them. Yeah. And there's, the prevailing theory is could be two people. He could have had help, and it could be a father-son and, that look alike. So it was a cold day, so there weren't a lot of witnesses, but there were a couple. It's a lot. Okay. And it's obsessed a lot of armchair detectives. And I do love citizen sleuths and armchair detectives. I really, really do. And they have been very helpful. But I took, the sketch of the bridge guy and pictures of persons of interest. Mm-hmm. I put 2 pictures together, and those in law enforcement warned me against that.
They warned you against
doing that. I can't solve it, but against doing that. It's what was the term? Confirmation bias.
Sure. Okay.
It makes you think you have solved it when it's not up to us to solve it. But it was the Zodiac confirmation bias. You're putting a hat on a guy's picture because the bridge guy had on a hat. I mean, there's this video of him, this Snapchat video, which her phone was maybe not a newer phone. And so the video is extraordinarily grainy. So it's hard. And he was wearing items that, were pretty covered him in certain ways that you couldn't tell what something was, you know? Is it a hood? Is it a shirt sticking out? It's, you know.
Right.
So that is easy to do. You can make
Sure.
anything fit.
Yeah, absolutely. And then once you have that theory set in your head, then you start going down a rabbit hole of making all these other clues fit.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's very easy to do. It's very, and I'm not one of those people that thinks I'm going to solve a case. But when you see something that you feel like ignites you, like, oh, that really could be that.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things that happens. But
Right.
yeah, I did it one other time with a missing man and a photo of what could be his daughter. And the likenesses were startling.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like mathematically, there's no way that it could be. Even as much as they looked alike, from extremely unique jawline
Right.
to eyebrows to eye color, all of that. It just, there's only so many forms the human being takes.
Sure.
So I learned not to do that. But that is another great component that you mentioned, the solving the puzzle.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, exactly. We all want to. If we're presented with a puzzle, we want to.
We want to be Sherlock
it.
Holmes.
Yeah,
we all want to be Sherlock Holmes.
For sure.
I get that, and I think that's another part. Why women consume true crime. I think their minds work in that way, and I'm not saying women are better puzzle solvers. But I think that they are better at seeing the macro, and I think men are better at seeing the micro.
Oh, that makes sense.
And I think together, that's why I think different gender, investigation teams are a really good thing to have.
Oh, sure.
Because you have different perspectives.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I really, I do still like my theory that women consume true crime because they want to know how to protect themselves.
No, and I see that.
I love the Hallmark theory that you want to make sense of chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And I love your theory that, women want a safe environment, perhaps to, work out something in their head that they might be interested in.
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah.
I think those are all really good theories.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be fascinated to hear what the Tip-Sters think.
Yeah. Are there more? Are there more theories?
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe there's more. And if the Tip-Sters want to let us know, they can email us at jttipsters@gmail.com. They can call us at 832-TIPSTER. That's 832-847-7837. You can find us on any of the social media platforms. There's the Just the Tipsters Facebook page, at JT Tipsters on Instagram, at JT Tipsters Pod on Twitter, and more cowbell.
If you would like to support this podcast and get early access and other cool murderous swag, go to patreon.com/justthetipsters.